Expectations, the problems, and the necessity of them. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome to Brian J. Pombo Live. I'm using this just as it kind of gives you the expectation that he's going to fall down or something. I don't know why. It just kind of played into the storyline. Hopefully it makes a good video screen cap. Old toy. I don't know if you ever seen these. They're always interesting to me because it's just an optical illusion. Most of the weight is right here, but it appears as though the weight is distributed out there, but it's not. It's all kind of just an illusion. I wanted to talk about expectations because it ties in good with our discussion last night. Last night we were talking about trust, and when you overextend on your trust with people. And expectations is very similar because although it doesn't only relate with people, it relates with everything. When you expect anything, you can get into a whole bunch of trouble. And at the same time, if you don't expect things to happen the right way, then they won't. It's a weird paradox there. So let's take the negative in first, because that's the fun one. Because everyone likes to say that you need to, expect great things and this and this and that. One thing I found is you should always expect the best thing to happen, but you should not get emotionally invested in a specific thing that's going to happen. It shouldn't be an emotional thing. Your self-worth, your self-image should not be tied into a specific event or specific occurrence or a specific person to do a specific thing. And that's how it ties into trust, because oftentimes we'll expect people to do great things, and when they don't, they let us down. They let us down only because we set them up to do something that they weren't necessarily ever going to do. And that's where trust gets mixed up. But it all comes back to an emotional state where we get caught up emotionally. Not that you shouldn't have emotions regarding expectations, but you shouldn't get so caught up in them. You need to back away from the emotional end of expectations. And if you do that, you can still expect things to happen. But most things in life don't happen the way you think they're going to happen. They may still happen. There's a lot of great things that can happen in life that don't happen the way that you would expect them to. And that's where all the blessings are. Everyone talks about the mixed blessings and these fabulous things that end up happening to you that you never could have predicted on your own. So it's not all good things are dependent upon you expecting them. But expecting them is kind of tied in to it somewhere. Napoleon Hill talks about this a lot, about you don't get, and I believe it was Napoleon Hill, that you don't get what you want, you get what you expect. What you expect to come is what you end up getting. And it's more of it's deeper than emotions. Emotions are, we all pay a whole lot of homage to emotions, as if that's your heart, that's where your gut is, and it really isn't. There's a deeper version to all of us that are way beyond emotions, because animals are emotional. I mean, anybody can be emotional. That's easy stuff. The tough thing is being able to tap into that source on the inside that says, this is the right thing to do in the right direction to go, and you know that this is meant for you, that sense of destiny like we've talked about before. And so I see the same thing with expectations. You should expect the right things to happen, but don't expect specifics, because you'll always get let down. You'll always expect somebody to do something. And one thing I try to train people when I'm training groups of people, not to expect everyone else to do something. Expect it of yourself, but don't expect it of others. And then if they do something great, that wonderful. It's a cherry on the top. But you shouldn't be expecting it. You see how this ties in with trust? If not, go back and watch last night's talk when we were discussing trust and how that all ties into it. It's the same concept, though. Don't get your emotions tied up in your expectations. That's what it really comes down to. I expect a whole bunch of great things to happen. I expect a lot of things coming in my life. But I don't know exactly how they're going to happen. And I don't know exactly when they're going to happen. But I do expect them. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But whenever I've gotten, give you a great example. So I've mentioned before, I ran for state officer in, this was the late 90s in California, for the California FFA. They have this team of officers that you would go and apply for, and you go through this rigorous test and everything where you're in front of a board and they ask you questions and all this other stuff. So there was this big long process to go through, and I was certain, because I had put in the hard work and had thought about it more and had discussed it with the people that mattered and just did everything my mind could think of to get there. I thought, it's mine. I'll be there. It'll happen. It's absolute. I had no doubt in my mind. But there was an emotional tie to it. And when it didn't happen, completely out of my control, it did not happen when I thought it was going to happen, my world got shook and turned upside down, because I didn't know that was possible. I figured if you did everything, then it has to happen, right? It just has to. Sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't happen in the way and the direction that you think it's going to happen. And really, my deepest expectation wasn't to be a state officer. My deepest expectation was to do something amazing with my life. And I ended up doing some amazing things and still doing amazing things. I'm not patting myself on the back, it's my experiences. And I expected that to happen, and I automatically tied it to that position that I thought was automatically mine. But you can't get caught up with the details. Look at the big picture. Expect the good thing. And I think the good thing will happen to you, because there's something with faith tied in there, I think. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. Kind of sounds like a ramble tonight, but hopefully it touched on a few things. If you'd like to be able to take your business to the next level, if you expect that is in your future and you're just looking for the pieces to be able to put that together, I might be able to help you on some of that. Go check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. You can find that at amazonproofbook.com. amazonproofbook.com. We'll be back here tomorrow night. And in the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.